Of course, is in retaliation to the Raksha Mantri's comments in the latest. Now, China responding essentially to the statement that was made by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on the LAC situation. China now comes out to say that the border situation remains stable and we must jointly contribute to peace. To put this story in perspective, viewers, let me quickly remind you how Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has raised the issue of the lingering border controversy with China in eastern Ladakh, and this with his Chinese counterpart. He stressed that the violation of existing agreements had eroded bilateral relations and the development of India-China ties was based on the prevalence of peace and tranquility at the border. An all-important message sent out by the Raksha Mantri, to which China has now responded as well. Rishabh joining us with that detailed response. Rishabh.
So what we know that both the defense ministers met yesterday here in national capital on the sidelines of now ongoing SCO Defense Ministers Summit. And the way both the ministers discussed, as India has kept it an open, fact that India-China relation is not normal, and hence the defense ministers stayed on that line and said that India believe that peace and tranquility on LAC is something which is in benefit of both the countries. And now, statement of the Chinese defense minister has also come in, and he says that at the China-India bilateral discussion, he says that things are stable on the borders, while India says the situation is not normal, quote unquote. China says everything is normal. This is something that China has maintained even after 1962 or 1968 conflict with India. They said that things are normal and everything is as before Panchsheel Pact, but things were not that. China's expansionist policies continued even post 62, 68 and 72. So now, China coming up with this statement while India says that things are not normal and things will only be normal once the deployment on both sides of LOC will decrease. As of now, that is not the case.
All right, but on the contrary, you have the Chinese state councillor responding essentially to what the Raksha Mantri has stated. But it's problematic in itself, Rishabh, because on one hand, you have the Raksha Mantri state in as many words that until and unless the border situation is cleared out, it's not going to do any good as far as both the countries are concerned. The relationship they share goes. But here you have his counterpart urging to bring the border situation under normalized management and to jointly enhance mutual trust between the two armies. So on the surface of it, the Chinese counterpart really trying to send out the message it's not going to really hold any merit, because the Raksha Mantri has stated in as many words, bring peace and tranquility, else it's pointless to come out with these empty promises.
Definitely. What is peace and tranquility on LAC? India is very clear. Decrease the number of forces, decrease the number of settlements that you have made in and around LAC, return back to the agreed border marking, and that will be the peace and tranquility, which is not the case. We have seen huge deployment of Chinese army in both the western and eastern sector, be it Ladakh sector or Arunachal sector. We have seen time and again a provocation from Chinese side and creation of villages, be it in Bhutan territory or be it in close to Indian border, and that is something that provokes the relationship between India and China. And India, that's why it's very clear that if you want peace and tranquility, bring peace and tranquility, remove the forces that you have put in.
Well, how seriously will India now see this with China saying that we must jointly contribute to peace, because India is very, very firm on how it has moved towards that particular contribution throughout this phase of tensions that have prevailed at the LAC. Thank you, Rishabh, for joining us with all those details. Let's